Every year the jury has discussion on the difference between a health and wellness entry and a pharma entry. And for most of the time, it's very clear that health and wellness tends to be much more general about health and well-being, different types of organizations, different types of companies, large consumer brands. And pharma tends to be companies that or communication that is driving to specific disease states in unbranded campaigns, or specific products that treat those disease states. They're usually heavily regulated across the world, and are prescription medications in parts of the world, and sometimes they're over-the-counter medications in other parts of the world, but they are all meant to help treat or help manage specific disease states. One of the things that's interesting about the past year, the COVID pandemic has changed many, many things on how we work, how we produce campaigns. But one thing that it hasn't affected is the quality of the ideas. The ideas that we judged this year were amazing, were some of the highest quality ideas that I've had the privilege of judging over my entire career. So if anything, I think the pandemic has allowed people to understand the importance of their health, the importance of taking proactive measures to mitigate health issues, and has made health really right here in the front of people's minds. So if anything, it has made, I think, our job just a little bit easier to get messaging across. When I think about my North Star for awarding campaigns and awarding work this year, things that surprised me, things that intrigued me, things that asked for an emotional response, things that made me jealous, things that made me angry that I didn't think of them. But most of all, I think work that had heart, soul, amazing craft, beautiful photography, illustration, topography, video production, film, but mostly work that really struck that emotional chord, and that made me feel something and made me want to participate in the work. I think we were a very fair jury. We had robust discussions about every single entry. When we had an entry that was very close between different award levels, again, we would discuss the pros and cons. Everyone spoke up. There was no one, I don't believe that there was anyone who felt that their voice was not heard. So I don't think we were tough or generous, but I do think we were fair. The advice that I would give to companies entering next year is read the category descriptions closely. Read everything in the entry kit very, very closely. Do not delegate award show entries to the lowest person in the organization. This is an important designation between health and wellness and pharma. The entry guidelines are quite clear, and I think everyone is just wasting time, energy, money by entering things in the wrong categories. And it is spelled out in the entry kits very clearly. So I would just say, spend more time with the entry kit and really make a decision, because if you put something in the health and wellness category and you put it in the pharma category, it means that you really haven't done your homework. It also probably means that you have a strong entry, and that you think you may increase the number of awards that you're going to win. by having it in both places. I can tell you from firsthand experience that is not true. Pick a category, pick either health and wellness or pharma, and go all in. So yes, we awarded a grand LIA. We also awarded 3 gold LIAs this year. I think all 3 ideas were incredibly, incredibly strong. I think what tipped the scales for the entry that won the grand LIA was that it was an incredibly simple idea, beautifully crafted, made all of us incredibly jealous that we hadn't come up with the idea. And when we looked at it in comparison to the other winners, it felt that it really struck that emotional chord that made it resonate with all of us. I think the other gold winners were also quite strong, beautifully crafted, incredible storytelling. And in the case of one of the gold winners, a very innovative product idea, product design. It's coming to the market in several years, and I think that it's an incredible, great idea that that people will be very happy that it won a gold in our show. I think any last words or last bit of advice that I would give to people entering in the future is, first and foremost, have a great idea, then execute it flawlessly, have passion for your ideas, and remember that when we are looking at the entries, case films are important, but they're not the most important thing. The idea and the campaign and the entry is the most important thing. And sometimes there's perhaps a little too much importance placed on the case film, and it does overshadow the idea itself. Be very, very cautious and very careful that way. But start with a great idea, execute the hell out of it, and do good in the world. And your campaign will do very well in the LIAs.